Hi everyone, I'm here again to talk about the Mandela effect. Basically, one of the effects that I have been feeling in the last, I'd say in the last 2 years with gradual increase would be time. I've felt in the last 2 or 3 years that time has been progressively speeding up, and I felt that the days have gone faster, the months have gone faster. In the last 2 years I've felt that the days and months have gone faster, but in the last year, or to be more specific, in the last 6 months, I have felt that the time itself in minutes has actually sped up a lot. And scaringly enough, in the last, just trying to remember, in the last few months, I have been feeling really, really anxious because I feel like I'm not getting anything done. I feel like time is running out. I feel like time is going too fast for me, and you know what it feels like? It feels like I'm standing still and the day just goes by just like that, really, really quickly. And I can give you an example. Say 30 minutes now feels to me like 15 minutes. 24 hours now feels like half of it, like just half the day has just gone by, but really a whole day's gone by. So to be more specific, I feel as if time has sped up double. There is something that I read while I was researching regarding the Mandela effect in regards to time, and it said that years and years back, it was measuring the Earth's inertia, and it used to be 7 point something, and then it's gradually sped up more than double that to 16, and then now it's like 32 point something. And also the seconds have gone really fast. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos with people saying they used to measure second by saying, it was a phrase that they said, and when they said it, it used to measure how long the second would go for. But now they're finding that when they say the phrase, they have to say it really, really fast now to actually keep up with the time. Anyway, also another thing I wanted to talk about was Another thing I wanted to talk about was about the theories involving the cause of the Mandela effect. And I know I mentioned in my last video that there were two main causes. One, people theorize that the Mandela effect is caused by someone actually going back in time and changing the way things are. Hence, now, we have a different Bible verse, and we have like different logos of companies and colors and so on, like the Ford logo, and then we've got the Volkswagen logo, and they actually even mentioned in a video that they have recorded a shift. The actual logo of the Volkswagen in the movie Back to the Future actually changed in real time. So in this dimension, the Volkswagen has got a line in the middle. But a lot of people remember that there was never a line in the middle. It was just one whole logo with no line, no cuts, nothing. But in Back to the Future movie, the logo in the van actually changes from being whole with no lines in the middle and no gaps to having a gap in the middle. So I actually see this change in real time. There was another lady, she made a video that I watched regarding a bank in America that the logo changed in front of her, and she actually took a lot of photos and evidence of this, the color changing and the shift of colors actually happening in real time. So anyway, so back to the point. So that one theory is that someone has gone back in time and changed the way things are. The second theory is that there was a dimensional, I wouldn't call it a shift, it was more of a merge into another, a very, very similar dimension to ours. I guess you could say an identical dimension. So if you've ever studied cosmology and science fiction and all that sort of stuff, we have loads and loads of movies regarding the existence of different dimensions. Now, in cosmology, they actually mention the theories of alternate dimensions as well, and this is where all this science fiction and perception came from, with alternate dimensions existing next to our own. So the theory is that our old dimension had ended. So our old physical dimension had ended by unknown means. I don't know what caused it, but what happened was our consciousness merged into an identical dimension. And this actually has a lot to do with CERN. A lot of people theorize that CERN is responsible for this merging into alternate dimensions. So whether or not our world had ended, or whether or not CERN knew about our world ending and somehow took the initiative to find a way for us to merge into an identical dimension that's very similar to ours so that we could go on living, that's another story. But that is the second theory, and I believe more in regards to the alternate dimension than the theory of someone going back in time and changing things. First reason why is because if someone was to go back in time and change the events, it wouldn't be just over colors of logos and shapes of logos and company names and like little things, because that's all I'm seeing here. I'm not saying that the Mandela effect isn't a big deal. I'm saying that the changes in the Mandela effect are little changes. So besides the fact that Nelson Mandela died in another time, instead of in the late 1980s, he died in 2013 instead, in this reality, that is a big deal, but he still died. So it's not as if it's a major change or event, because if someone was to go back in time and change something, it would be a big issue. They would want to change, for example, for the good of humanity, they would make sure that the Holocaust never happened. They would probably change the fact that, in a political sense more, there would be a lot more of a political change if someone was to go back in time to change these things. But because the things that have changed are minimum, or say not a major thing, I really theorize that it's more of the theory of us merging into the alternate dimension more than anything. It's not about going back into time and changing events, because if someone had the technology to do this, they would change far more drastic things that happen in history, like the atomic wars and things like that. That would change bigger things in the world that would affect the way the world runs now. So I feel that the Mandela effect has more to do with alternate realities and so on, rather than going back into the past with a time machine and changing things. So just like to share my thoughts.